election results are still being collated and put together. And yeah, happy post-election day. History is being made. It is being made as we speak.
Right. So we're talking about the elections and shutting down the economy, and we'd love you to be a part of this conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. And we're streaming live on YouTube as well, so you can catch the live stream. Just search for Smooth981 on YouTube, and you can actually post the comments underneath. So before we get into the elections, Rotus, let's talk about that CBN circular that was released on Friday regarding the tenure of bank executives. Could you explain that, please?
Yeah, on Friday, the Central Bank of Nigeria, they released a circular that reviewed the tenure of executive management and non-executive directors of banks, deposit money banks, and financial holding companies with effect from Friday. Came out of nowhere. They pretty much said that the cumulative term of EDs as executive directors, DMDs, deputy managing directors, MDs, managing directors, non-executive directors across the banking industry will not exceed 20 years. So basically, they're reviewing downwards the term limits for those executives. So, for example, they said the tenure of executive directors, deputy managing directors, and managing directors are subject to a maximum period of 10 years. While non-executive directors are expected to serve a maximum period of 12 years. Basically, it looks like it's, you've got people that will serve in one position for a while in a bank, then now become head of a holding company, or somebody who serves as chair for a long period of time. I think essentially they're saying that they're supposed to review corporate governance standards, but you can't just serve in that position in a bank forever. So they're trying to wind that down. So basically, for bank executives, non-executive directors, your tenure cannot exceed 10 to 12 years. And if you are coming up, they will give some examples. If you're coming up on the end of your tenure and switch to somewhere else, you might have like a cooling off period. Let me see. So yeah, executive directors, deputy managing directors, and MDs who exit from the board of a bank, that's the board of directors of a bank, either upon or prior to the expiration of their maximum tenure, shall serve out a cooling off period of 1 year. So you leave the board and you cool off for 1 year where you don't do anything before you're eligible for an appointment as a non-executive director to the board. So if you are switching from one to the other, you have to have a cooling off period. So basically, it's just reviewing the tenure for executive directors of these financial institutions.
Brilliant. Thanks for breaking that down. So let's move on to the election. What's your take on the economic lockdown that takes place every time there's a general election, every 4 years, really?
Yeah, I mean, so when we have a general election, we shut down the borders, businesses close, there's movement restricted. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder about the necessity of it because it's basically a lockdown. It just takes me back to the COVID period. I know it's for just 1 day, but if you think about, let me give you an example. I wanted to get my laundry done at a particular place that I get it done. And I wasn't on Sunday. I reached out to them on Sunday asking them if they were open. And they said no. They said they're not open on Sunday. And I talked to a couple people. I talked to one of the founders, and he was like, he gave them the day off in case things get crazy with the election from Saturday. And there were some issues with some election polling units that had to be redone the following day. In fact, some had to be redone on Sunday between 8 and 12. So, I mean, my thing is the restriction of economic activity when we have an election. I understand the security part of it, but you can in off-cycle elections that are not general elections, which I understand are smaller footprints on the nation, life goes on, as usual, So I just think that there's an impact on the economy when you shut everything down. Other countries, not to mention any particular countries, but I've been in other countries where elections took place and you just went, you voted, and life continued as normal. So people go to a bar or a restaurant and do an election watch party. It's actually generated economic activity for the hospitality sector in other countries. So, I think it is possible for us to have a general election and businesses don't have to suffer for it, because not all businesses reopened on Sunday. And this is a weekend. Businesses do good. So no movies, nobody could go to a movie. You couldn't go to a restaurant. You couldn't go to, think of any weekend activity that you would do. If you had a supermarket and you needed to buy, you should have seen, supermarkets on Friday were crazy. Right. And one item I noticed a lot of people were buying was bread. There were so many people buying bread that I noticed at different supermarkets. It was almost like people were preparing for a war, right? Right. They were stocking up on what's it called? Essential items, stocking up on things that, and those businesses probably didn't open. Those supermarkets open Saturday. A number of them didn't open on Sunday, and they make a lot of their money during the weekend when people are, so yeah, it has to be reviewed with respect to being able to walk and chew gum at the same time. That is, being able to conduct an election, general election, while still allowing businesses and people to continue their economic activity. And we should consider early voting. I know we'll get to voting by phone in a second, but if we have time. When I interviewed the head of information for INEC, he was like, look, let's start with early voting so that people who work in the media, security operatives, maybe even diaspora Nigerians, they get to vote early, you record their votes, store it somewhere, and then allow them to do the work they do during elections. So there's a lot to be looked at. I don't think you should be shutting down an entire country for a general election. Other countries are able to do it while normal business activity goes on.
So what impact do you think this could have on GDP?
Yeah, when we think, so normally, Zibby, your first quarter GDP slows down from what you had in the fourth quarter. So this last fourth quarter of 2022 was 3.52%. We're probably going to see a slowdown in the first quarter of this year. We usually do record, decent GDP in the fourth quarter of the year. That is October, November, December, due to festive activity, the December festivities and so on and so forth. But then you see a slowdown in the first quarter. And I think this particular first quarter might be more pronounced than normal as a result of the Naira redesign and that cash scarcity that we saw at the end of January. So first quarter is going to be looking at January, February, and March. So the Naira scarcity, the impact it had, people didn't have cash. I know some people switched to the mobile services, but then there were slowdowns there. I think that is going to have an impact. You now add, no activity for the elections, and I think businesses should resume as normal today. I hope so. But there's that uncertainty until the results are announced, and I don't think we'll get results until maybe Tuesday, hopefully, or Wednesday. So that also might impact activity as well. So I think you will see a slowdown, that could be more pronounced than normal for this first quarter of 2023.
All right, well, let us know what your thoughts are. 0809 444 0981. You're listening to Business Express on the Smooth Breakfast. Rotus, I want to ask though, what do you make of the election so far?
Well, it's a sad thing that there's been violence, especially here in I think Lagos, some parts of I think Edo states, and I can't remember which other parts of the northern part of the country. But that in 2023, you're still seeing ballot snatching and so on. That is a problem. But I voted in less than 10 minutes. In fact, I went to the wrong polling units to even add to my own issues. I went to the polling units where I picked up my card. I didn't bother to check because I thought that was where I was voting. But the very helpful youth copper who was very well trained by INEC. And funny enough, he kind of looked like Puff Daddy. I think I should update a video of him. P. Diddy, he told me where my correct polling unit was. I went there, and there were only 16 of us there. I think for at least for my area, my voting area, it looked like INEC tried to decongest the number of polling units because we're only 16 people where I voted. I voted in under 10 minutes. The beavers, I think it didn't capture my fingerprints, so they had to take a picture of me. And then I voted. So, but we've seen issues that have popped up. And the violence, especially in Lagos and palace snatching, it still shouldn't be happening. It's pretty disappointing. And INEC they've come under a lot of fire recently with people being, I know you probably get into it and freshly pressed, but yeah, it's not been smooth the entire way.
So you stated that the BVAS couldn't capture your fingerprints. So what's your take on these technical challenges that INEC has faced when it comes to uploading data?
Well, INEC had 4 years to get ready for this. They said they had tested this thing in a couple states, and I mean, they put out a press release saying that because BVAS was one, the election INEC review, the IREV that allows them to review results in real time. They said they had a problem uploading those results. And, there's already a large trust deficit in this country where people think any small thing, people think rigging is going on. So you're seeing that already on social media. So they have a big budget. They should have, attended to all these things. There were issues with uploading results, and you shouldn't be having these problems. Now, even the results, the results they're uploading is hard for people to see some of them. So, INEC, they still got issues, and they're still unfortunately disappointing a number of Nigerians.
Wow. All right. Does this mean that you're basically clinging tighter to your stance that we should one day vote by mobile phones?
Yeah, I mean, the Constitution doesn't allow it. You have to be physically present at a polling unit to cast your vote. So voting by mobile phone, we're not there yet. And there's the issue of people who own multiple SIM cards. There's the issue of not everybody has a smartphone, network issues. But if we can sort that out, I mean, with NIN, BVN, the help of the telcos, the help of the bank, I can't hack into your account, Zibby, and take out your money. I can't go into a bank and pretend to be you or somebody else. So, we're relatively secure on that side. We should at some point, if I can go to an ATM and not take money out of your account, and I can, with the help of the bank's private sector, we should be able to, electronic voting should get us somewhere. At least that will just eliminate violence altogether. But I know we're still a long way to go.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we have for Business Express this morning. Thank you, Rotus, for being with us on the show.
Thank you so much, Zibby. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right. And thank you for listening.